Hi, welcome to one more today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our year-end edition special series on 36 stratagem, which is wisdom summarized by generations of scholars about how to win a battle or win a war. So this war strategy could be sometimes applied to contemporary living as well. Yesterday's good advice about play down. So in a battlefield as well as in life, sometimes it's better to play dumb and not to behave like, don't act crazy, to draw unnecessary attention to yourself and to play just not knowing certain things that may fare better in certain situations. And today we have another good advice that's very applicable to today's living. 欲擒故纵. Okay, so here there is a tension or contrast of 欲, what you really want to do, and the 故 is what behavior level you intentionally do something else. So 擒 and 纵 are two opposing actions. 擒 is your intent, you really want to catch, but what you appearance on the surface, you actually were doing or perceived of doing is you're releasing it. So 欲擒故纵 is an interesting twist of plot. Okay, 欲 we have I translate as wanna, but it could be desire. It could be a noun or a verb. So that's English is about the Chinese. Some word have this double function, right? Serves as a noun or verb. Just like a desire. Desire can be both, right? So here, this 欲, it corresponds pretty well with desire. But in this context, I translate it as a wanna to mean it's actually the action of desire. Okay, so we have the right side, which is a human figure with 3 strokes on the top of the head. So imagine the head portion of this human figure with 3 strokes. That 3 strokes actually, in certain contexts, it means walking, footsteps, repeated pattern. But here is a repeated pattern on top of the head, which is actually somebody's yawning. So when you yawn, you will, at least I yawn, will do this, make the sound of yawning. And that's a repeated pattern of air waves coming out of you. And especially doing this too. And then the left side is the character for valley. According to some scholars, okay, so in a valley is between the mountains, right? The low point between the mountains. And we have this almost like airflow, like that way. But according to some scholars, this is one that's missing the middle stream. Because in some characters, we have 3 strokes, the middle one and the 2 side one together, it means streams. So this is at the beginning of the formation of stream when it's still trickling from the waters hidden underground on the mountain when it becomes before they become streams, and then eventually creeks, streams, river become bigger and bigger, right? All of those are like from thousands of sources, right? From little trickles down. So this is start to form little creeks before they become major water body flow. And this depicts like on each side is the mountain, and this is kind of wrapped in between geographically, right? And then this is a mouse symbol, and the mouse symbol mostly applied to human mouse, but in this case, it's geographically between like the opening between the 2 mountains. So it's like an open space between the 2 mountains. It's a gap over there, and then there are some unformed streams trickling down. So that's the valley depiction. So when we have valley on the left side, which is the sound maker, I don't know like exactly how to explain desire from a valley. It could be the valley is a desirable piece of land for farming purpose. I don't exactly know. But this yawning also can be extended into the meaning of you feel lacking. It's not enough. You don't have enough. So there's not enough. And you hopefully to get to a fertile land like the valley. It's a well irrigated piece of land. So that's where you want to go. And you feel you're lacking, you're not having enough. So combined together could mean desire. Okay, 擒 is catch. So we have 5-finger hand symbol up there. So if it's a 5-finger, I would imagine that means you put more force on it versus 3-finger. It's like lightly touch. You just use 3 fingers enough, but 5 is all 5 fingers in use, in action. So this is some highly skilled, dexterous situation, right? So that's catch. We have this shed thing, cover over there. I mean, this could mean a cover and then pointing down like something underneath the cover. But that top portion could also mean today, current, because we have this triangular thing with the bottom portion kind of disconnected from this. This triangle thing means past, present, future. And then we have this pointing down, like, okay, this is now we're talking about. This is current we're talking about. So then we have this underground structure of a hole under the ground, right? And we have a cross. Cross is a symbol to give to humans, like your village man to tell them, okay, that's a trap we set for beast. Don't go there. It's not for you. So that's like a no, don't go there sign. So we have this underground structure and no, don't go there. And then we have this beast walking. So this, according to some scholars, this is animals walking track sign. I don't exactly know how to visualize that, but I can view this as the tail of the animal. So some sort of beast, some sort of a cat, right? Big cat over there, and is walking toward that trap. And it's currently like right now. And you as a hunter probably to hunt big size animal. This is one way to catch them, right? To trap them in there. And you're kind of waiting somewhere ready. Once you get there, the animal's in, and then you can use all your 5 fingers to catch the animal. So that's the action, the whole, trapping a big cat image animal over there. So that's our catch. And okay, we have a gu. Okay, it comes with 4 parts together. If we disassemble it, we have the 3-finger hand symbol on the bottom right, and then the top right, we have this vertical line with a short horizontal line. That is some device used, like apparently holding in the hand. So some people interpret it as a whip, like, in ancient times, a little bit of slavery, right? So whipping is kind of order giving, corporal punishment, to make sure other people follow your instructions, that kind of thing. So there is a little bit of slavery over there, but there are other interpretations of this means this is our sign or our device used for tell fortune, like a fortune teller device based on a type of plant. You have to pluck off this, plug of that, plug, and then you kind of read what's the intention out there. Some irrelevant things try to tell future with that. So it was also used for that purpose. So hand holding some sort of fortune telling device could also mean that. And then we have this mouse symbol. Mouse in Chinese can mean something related to speaking, coming out of or giving orders, instructions, and then can also mean mouth to feed, like a head count, we say mouse count. So we use mouse symbol to also represent a whole person, like a person. We when we look at people based on their mouths, because that's a mouse, extra mouths to feed, right? And then we have this number 10 on top of that. So number 10 is just a roping, tying a knot, and then we eventually turn the knot into a horizontal line to indicate this is 10. This is our marker of a round number over there. So 10 mouths, I will regard it as 10 generations. So the mouse actually before you. So 10 generations before you. That's already regarded as ancient, as some older people before you. So Chinese culture is very ancestor worshipping. They regard older generations or ancestors in general know better how to live, how to survive in this world, because they did it, right? So we need to learn from them. So this ancestry worshipping kind of expressed in this whole symbol creation of, okay, 10 generations before you, that's probably, I don't know, 200, 300 years ago. So people from that time. And this hand-holding device is kind of giving orders, at least giving some signals. So older generations giving signals to you. That's kind of, we can regard it as generational wisdom, like people before you save some knowledge for you, and you're supposed to follow that to make the right decisions. And that's our gu. And gu can eventually pair with many other characters for many different meanings. But this origin of 10 generations ago, or 10 generations worthy of knowledge and telling you how to do things, that's what this frame originally tell you. And this telling you how to do things from ancient wisdom become this like motivate, or your behavior explainer, like why you do something. It's because older generations tell me to do so, right? And that eventually becomes the explainer, the intention. Like we often say 故意, like intentionally, 意 is intent, like that. So 故 is kind of an explainer, like we explain it of our behavior in a certain way. So 故 is this, explainable, let's say. So explainably release them. Or contemporary Chinese, we just extend that meaning to intentionally, like you intentionally, like explainably, intentionally doing something. So, okay, we have the left side is the thread or the textile image that comes from this drapey image of the, like this is kind of drapey at the bottom. And then the top are two knots connected on the thread. So the whole thing means something related to textile. And then the right side is two human figures next to each other. One follow another. And we have this foot symbol and the footsteps. Over here, if it pairs with a foot, not pair with a whole human figure, right? So this similar looking thing actually means footsteps. So this is footsteps plus foot means walking. Two people next to each other means following in walking. So one follow another. And now stacked together with this textile image, that means within this confinement of garment, you can probably fit two person, like one follow another. So extended into, this is a loose fitting. You can fit two in here. I'm not sure if that's convincing enough, but that's the original meaning of 纵. 纵 means it's loose fitting. And from this loose fitting, this loose becomes loosen and then becomes release. That makes sense, right? Okay, so overall the meaning of the whole phrase is, if you really want to catch your enemy, you explainably, purposefully doing this release action first. You let it run, and then you catch. Okay, in ancient battlefield wisdom, that was applied as you don't confront them right away. You tire them out first, because a lot of times there's a separation of 力 and 势. So 力 is muscle power, the force you have, and the 势 is perceived power, or how much, or we can explain it as energy, how much energy you have. So 力 is probably more the force, the structural. Like you're structurally, either it's the size of your army or the equipment you have, some hardware, right? We can explain it. And the 势 is more software, like the energy, the power, the spirit, the morale. So all that is 势. So between 势 and the 力, there is this dynamics. Sometimes it's not in sync. You may have a lot of 力, but your 势 is low. Or you want to confuse your enemy. Like you have a lot of elite power, but you try to reduce your 势 so that you kind of trick your enemy, let them to catch you, and they didn't know that you are this big. So all kinds of things can play. Over here, 欲擒故纵, it's like you know your enemy is kind of powerful. You kind of gauge you against them, like how big a ball, right? So that's structurally just hardware comparison. But you want to 纵, you let them loose, you release them, you let them run, basically. You use up their energy, their software, you let it, you overload them with unnecessary moves. And that way you reduce their energy level, you reduce their software. Like they are over computing, like if we have to use a computer symbol, they're over computing over unnecessary things that absorb their attention, their energy, their computing power, or their fighting energy, or the will to fight, whatever that is. You're trying to 故纵, intentionally release that part of that, so that weakens them, even if the 力, like the hardware wise, they still have that big size of army, but now not everybody is running in full battery anymore. They're kind of exhausted, or at least distracted, and that's the moment you're going to catch. So you release first, and then you catch. That's why if you want to catch, you first release them, let them run their course, and then you're going to do the easy work. So in contemporary Chinese, people use 欲擒故纵 a lot of times in a dating situation. So here is, I just did a random search on 欲擒故纵 and came across this one, pick up league. So apparently it's for guys, how to pick up girls, how to make conversations, or try to attract the girls strategically, right? So they're trying to apply some strategies. So 欲擒故纵 was used here is, if you want to attract them, try to play cool, not all over them, just stay away, give them some space, and that way may actually work better, because then the girls think, you're not that interested. Some mechanism will get triggered in a girl to try to be more, I guess, more active on their part to approach you, instead of you are trying to hold on to her. So here is trying to retreat, try to release, let her run her own computing and wandering, and then that's a better way to catch them eventually. May or may not work. So all that 欲擒故纵 is very relevant, still applicable to today's life. All right, cash into the currency of thinking about one more today with Sophie. See you another day.